everybody. Welcome. Yes, we're back. I'm so sorry about that. I can explain, but welcome on in. We are back in the gym for the first time in way too long. A great show for you today. It's going to be a full day. We're going to hit the biceps. We're going to hit the lats. We're going to hit the rear delts, and we're going to hit the traps, and it's going to be fantastic. So welcome on in. So happy to be back in here with y'all. So much to share, so much to talk about. It's gonna be a great day. So we'll go ahead and dive on in. Where are we gonna start today? Today I thought we'd mix up the order a little bit. So typically, y'all know that I do sort of my big compound or prime mover movements first. And then I work on more of the hypertrophy, sort of specialized single muscle isolation exercises, typically a bit later in the workout. Good morning, John. How are you doing? Good morning, Mikey. How are you doing? Welcome on in. Good to see you, as always. I have to blow out the chat window for the... Why am I doing this? There we go. Need to blow out the chat window. It doesn't show up as well on my laptop when I have it up in the corner, so we're going to do that right there. That way I can also see the activity feed. And beautiful. Now I can actually see what's going on. Perfect. Okay, sorry about that. Well, it went through, canceled my plate order, feeling to jump the gun, it might be for the best. Okay. I know you had been looking at those plates. Shoot, if you were any closer to my neck of the woods, I'd sell you mine for for probably a lot less, but you're all the way up in Yankee land up there. I ain't going anywhere far north. Apparently it's snowing up there again. Fuck that. As much as I love my countrymen who live in the Midwest, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I have, if there is a way to have negative interest in something, there you go. That just no. Hard pass. All right, let's put this down a few. Go right about the knees. So we're going to need these for shrugs later. So see where we put that. We'll put that fourth on the bottom. Something like that. There, I reckon. Nope. One off. Perfect. What was I saying? So normally, right, I do my big compound movements first. And typically for pull day, that means either pull-ups or bent over rows. And we're still going to do bent over rows pretty early in this workout, but instead, I'm going to do something that I very seldom do. I'm going to try just the basic barbell bicep curl first, really see what I'm capable of strength-wise before I do any of the other workouts, see what kind of weight I can put up. I think that'll be kind of a fun little exercise to do. So that's where we're going to start today. Something to throw on. So you know what? Yeah, we'll throw on. This would be 85. That's equivalent to 40-ish pound dumbbell. So I should have no real issue with this. This should feel fairly easy. I'll do a couple for warm up. We'll go from there. I have a couple other cool things I want to try. Dumbbell preacher curls, right? So if you guys know what a preacher curl is, I'm going to try a preacher curl like this on the actual bench. I've never done that before. I know normally you do the preacher curl on the preacher curl setup where you've got, you're kind of leaning over a bit and then you go like that, right? And that's either a machine or it's barbells, or I guess you can do it with a dumbbell, but most people don't because, well, it's usually connected to either a machine or there's an easy curling bar right there, so why wouldn't you do that? But that would be a fun one. We're going to give that a try. All sorts of rows today. Again, this is going to be good. So just see how this feels. Let it stretch out a bit first. That's pretty easy. That's not too bad. Don't worry, that's not a real set. I'm just warming up, trying to feel this out. Because again, I very seldom actually do barbell curls. It's not an exercise I gravitate towards. When I do biceps in general, if it's not part of a larger compound pulling movement, be it pull-ups, chins, or rows, I don't think of biceps as, you know, or this is just, it's mostly an isolation exercise. But every so often, I think it's probably a good idea, for the sake of muscle confusion, for me to actually try something heavy, you know, maybe more of a 6 to 8 rep set, and see what it's like. So that's what we're going to do today. But if I'm going to do this properly, I do want music. I'm actually going to play a new album. I've been listening, as y'all know, through the entire discography of artists. It's one of my goals, is to pick a couple artists every year and listen to the entire discography. I'm just at the end of Blue Oyster Cult, and I have one album of theirs to listen to left, and it was called The Symbol, I think it's The Symbol Remains. Yeah, so it's called The Symbol Remains, and it was released in 2020. So, you know, these guys had like a 17, 18-year hiatus between their last two albums. So it'll be interesting to see how it sounds. But I really like Blue Oyster Cult in general. I think there are only one or two records where I'm like, I could never listen to this again and be happy. Most of their records I thought were really, really good. Their best ones are Pre-Agents of Fortune, though. The black and white albums are beautiful. Huh. A piece of plastic trim must have fallen off something. What the hell is that? I have to ask Dodger about that. Anyway, Blue Oyster Cult. So we'll go Symbol Remains. There we go. Woke up in the Midwest, has graced us with hell. On one hand, I love, there's a lot of Midwestern culture I really like. There is an axiom that generally applies in the United States. The worse the weather, the nicer the people. I used to live in Nebraska, and in general, people are extremely friendly out there. And in general, the weather is atrocious out there. The summers are hot, the winters are cold, it is almost perpetually windy. You know, you're at risk of tornadoes out there. Sometimes, even, I remember we first moved there, it was 2010, the Missouri River was flooding, which caused all sorts of issues. But no, the upper Midwest, really the Midwest in general, with the exception of a couple places full of really nice people in general. I think really the only places where maybe the Midwest doesn't have that nice reputation is in some of the bigger cities. But even then, most people I met, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Columbus, you know, Madison, Milwaukee, nice folks. I spent a ton of time up in Minnesota in particular, but definitely felt like people were very, very friendly in, you know, Nebraska, Iowa, Kansas, all those plain states. They like Runza though, which is disturbing. Yeah, they say, oh, it's German heritage, you know, it's, you know, okay, that's as may be, but it's done wrong. I don't know what's supposed to be right there, but Runza ain't right. Ooh, that'll work just fine. Shoot, this started off strong. All right. So we're gonna go, you should probably move the angle here, but I'm not gonna. We're gonna go just standing strict bicep curls. I'm gonna probably go for, I want at least 6 good reps, and then I'm fine. What I'm gonna probably do is I'm gonna do sets of 6, and then 7 and 8 will be cheat on the way up, so kind of swing it on the way up, but then really control the eccentric. So it's gonna be 6 real reps and 2 what I would call partials. And why would you do that, right? So the whole point here, and I know I'm talking a lot before the first set, but it bears explaining. Especially with smaller muscles, which is what the bicep is. The bicep is not and should not be anywhere, you know, in the top 5 of your biggest muscles on your body. And if it is, you need to do legs more. But one of the things that really tears up your biceps good is a solid eccentric. So, right, the key is you don't want to be doing this in any of your sets. Your elbows should be static. Your elbows should be rotating, but they should not be moving, right? You don't want to be doing this. You don't want to be doing that. That's wrong, right? You want to be doing that. And it makes sense, right? The whole point of a bicep curl is to work your biceps. If you do nothing but cheat curls, where you're doing that, right, what you're doing is turning a good biceps exercise into a poor biceps exercise and an even worse back exercise. Don't put your back into it. With biceps, you want to isolate. And if you really want a compound movement that also hits your biceps, that's what pull-ups and bent over rows are for. She's just getting the nice ones from the gay fashion houses. Someone's looking extra bullish today. Well, you know, I'll talk about that actually. You get both some short shorts. There's no reason y'all can't do that, although please don't do it for now. Given that I'm, you know, packing up all my things and moving across literally the world in a couple weeks. But when I settle in at the new place, I'm game. I'm game. Shoot, I need some better beachwear anyway. If there's, and I'm certainly gonna, I know this is stereotyping, but I'm certainly gonna trust my gay audience more than my own fashion sense, because they probably know a lot better than I do. Yes, that's a stereotype, and no, I don't care. Oh, that's good. Here we go. All right, that's 6 good ones. Now we swing up, right? So that was a bit of a cheat, but we come real slow on the eccentric. Oh! Ah! I like that. I like that. Let's stick to that. I like how that feels. So we got a 3x. So that's 105 pounds. We'll do rows after this, I think. I think I'm gonna do 6 sets of rows. I'm gonna do 3 sets of conventional rows and 3 sets of wide rows. Mostly true stereotype. Okay, even if it's a stereotype that isn't true, I do know that my fashion sense is virtually non-existent, as you guys have seen. So, you know, I'm gonna just by default, the average person's fashion sense is better than mine. So, even if that stereotype is completely false, it's still going to be a better option than me trying to figure it out myself. And stick to that. I like how that feels. Someone's definitely feeling something today. All right, we went to Raven. Anyway, as far as the way I look today, actually I weighed in. My body fat was way down. My weight wasn't, and then I had to take a second dump, which is why we started the stream late. Because yesterday I made a big pot of Indian-style curry with chicken, but instead of using rice or naan, I used mung dal, which is really great in terms of protein content, but also it's very high in fiber, and I learned that the hard way this morning. I mean, I felt like I dropped 5 pounds on the toilet. Oh. Fucking, come on, Blue Oyster Cult. Really gonna go for an ad right before the next? That's more like it. All right, this album's off to a great start.
That's 6. Let me swing. Ah. Oh, I can feel that in my biceps already rolling on set 2. I like that. We'll do one more of those. Jimbo Fisher, UK Western Symphonia. No, they can't. Look, bourbon money's good, but it's not oil and gas money. Dude, Winter Raven, freaking go for it. It's an 18+ channel. I'm moving, so I don't give a fuck. Hey, Mitch. Hey, well, if you can't stay, I appreciate even just saying hi. That's so much better than just being an anonymous lurker, so thank you. Big Red, you talked a lot of shit, and Dodger is going to clap back at you later today. I'm not going to do so because, as an A&M fan, I already expect the worst. I expect to get fully embarrassed today. Man. So Blue Oyster Cult has existed in some form or another since like 1969, I think. They released this album in 2020, and it's a freaking banger. Let's go. Mitch, some gays' fashion sense is A. That's true, but my fashion sense is trash. Like, I know, okay, look, the only reason I don't get judged for having a terrible sense of fashion is because I've got enough muscles to pull almost anything off. Like, these are beat up old basketball shorts, that's what I normally wear. Beat up old t-shirts is what I normally wear. I have this fucking yee-ass custom-made mohawk, which I love, but I think most people would be like, bro, if you weren't jacked, you wouldn't be able to rock that with any confidence. You know, like, these are fucking knockoff $12 Chuck Taylors I got from Walmart, for God's sake. The little eye holes falling out. And while I love this watch for like its functionality, it's big, it's digital, it's chunky. The only reason, again, I can pull it off is because I'm big. All right, last set. Oh my goodness, somebody gave a gift sub. I can't read who it was, but thank you. I will say thank you. I will shout you out in particular right after this set. Come on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Come on. All right, 2 swings. And eccentric. 2, 3, 4, 5. 7, one more. Nice. All right, that felt good. All right. We're gonna go down to do bent over rows. Feels kind of like it's about room temperature in here, probably about 70 Fahrenheit, so I'll put this back on. But I wanted to see first. Yeah, 72. Okay, this album is awesome. Gotta love the Oyster Cult. All right, so we're gonna do we're gonna do 6 sets of rows. We're gonna do 6 total sets of rows, 3 normal grip and 3 wide grip. We'll do shrugs, we'll do a ton of different curl variations. I think I'll do hammer curls next for biceps. I had a few other things I wanted to try. I gotta find where I was writing them down. Where did I do that? Kelso chest supported rows. I want to do those, but I can't here because I don't have a chest support. Barbell curls to start, I did that. And leaning cable curls. Can't do that here. Okay, all right, cool. All right, so who was it? It was Mikey. Aw, and thanks for the 40 stream streak. Thank you so much, Big Red. Mikey, that is very, very nice of you. Thanks for the gift sub bomb. And thanks for the 100 bits. Of course, man. And thank you for all the help, too. You've seen the Mohawk do have a double meaning in the more kinky community. Does it really? Tell me what that meaning is, because I don't fucking know, actually. But Mikey, man, you've been there for me as well. For those of you who don't know, there's been some family drama, and I've had to really, it's been stressful. But, you know, we're making do. All right, so the question is, if I'm bent over like this, can y'all, not really. I need to elevate it. I think I'm gonna try and rearrange the stream setup to allow you guys to see it better. It's not really a good way. Let's try this. There we go. We are going to try and move you guys back up to an older spot because I'm tired of y'all not being able to sort of see what I'm doing. That's much better. Still be better if, there we go, one more like that. Speaking of Dodger, did she find any luck in new employment? Potentially. She's got an interview with a company in North Myrtle in the upcoming, actually it's on Monday. She said she's going to leave out there on Saturday and take some of her stuff with her, which means she's betting on herself. It's the self-confidence I've been trying to instill in her because she needs that. If you don't believe in yourself, who the fuck else is going to believe in you? Anyway, let's hit a set. We can talk more about that for sure. All right, I'm going to try these without a belt. The belt's good for stabilizing, but I want to do these beltless. I think that's a good skill to have. Let's see. It's a bit tilted over. There we go. Yeah, that looks good. Should be less bent over. Yeah, that's a good one right there. Almost feel it in my hamstrings. That's the goal. Right. It's 9. That felt pretty good. Let's stick to that. How'd that look? That felt pretty good. We're gonna stick with that. tell you in the Discord. You can say it here. This is an 18 plus chat. You can absolutely say that here, Winter Raven. The other thing too I wanted to mention is, for those of you who missed the announcement yesterday in my Discord, I will be doing an NSFW AMA. You can ask me literally anything. Sometime at the end of the month. I'm running a poll to see what day, so please go vote in that. It was gonna be for 2,000 followers, but because last week I was gone to try and help Dodger find her new job, I'm gonna run low on amount of times to stream, and we still got 30 followers to go. I don't wanna do it before I move. Because, you know what, we're at 1970, that's close enough, as far as I'm concerned. So, that's my little way of saying thank you. So if you want to be a part of that, write down your questions, remember them, and then come ask them. Especially because I'm leaving my job on April 1st, I can say a little bit more about what I've been doing. I can also talk a lot more explicitly about NSFW stuff now. I can be a lot more open about it. So I'd love to, do that. And someone said I was looking a little bit better. I'm very happy to hear that. So I weighed in at 227.6 this morning, which is a bit high. That means I'm down about 5 pounds since the start of my cut, which we're closing in on 4 weeks. So we're a little bit over a pound a week, which is actually it's a little bit faster than what we want, but you gotta remember, first few weeks you're gonna lose water weight, inevitably. That's gonna be glycogen depletion. So it's gonna be a little bit more, it's gonna level off later. So definitely I think I'm gonna stick to 2,900 calories as a target. Survived the first round of shoveling, might make an igloo at this point. Hell yeah. Speaking of, can I get shout outs for both Big Game Mikey? I'm gonna shout out Big Game Mikey actually. And then in a little while, let's get a shout out for John as well. Because Big Game Mikey actually does streaming as well. It's a lot of problem solving. It's a lot of like computer science kind of stuff. It's pretty cool. I like it. All right, let's get another set. All right, so we got 2 more sets of rows, and then we got wide grip rows. I feel like I kind of came up a bit on that last one. That's 10, but I didn't like that last route. Lightheaded though. Whew. Dayton, let's go Flyers. I remember UD. I've been around that campus a lot. Lived in Dayton many years ago. Hey, what's up, Tally? Good to see you. So again, y'all, please go and look at the announcement in my server. I need votes on that. Or if I'm not getting at least 10, 15 votes for an option, well, it means the community doesn't really want it. And that's okay. If that's the choice, I'll try and think of something else to thank y'all in 2000 for. And no, nudes will not be it. I know it's something y'all just want. All right. Some doms like to give their subs a mohawk if they aren't outright making them bald as a sign of their role. That's actually kind of awesome. Well, so I'll save the exact specifics for what I am to the NSFW AMA, because I like to add a little mystery, but I definitely enjoy a little power play. So interesting. That's good to know. What Mohawks meant to the indigenous people. Well, there was actually a tribe that still exists. You're a banger. I appreciate that. But yeah, there was a tribe, I believe they still exist. They're up in upstate New York, called the Mohawk tribe. That's where the haircut style comes from. Mine's not really a full Mohawk, but this is what I can get away with and still have it act semi-professional. And the truth is, I think the biggest reason I can get away with it is because, well, my employer knows, what are they gonna do to me? They can't replace me. God knows they're trying now because they have to, but. All right, I'm trying to recollect. That last one got me lightheaded. You know what? I'm gonna actually try this with a belt. I just want to see what the difference feels like. But that's interesting. I did not know there were BDSM connotations to a Mohawk. That's actually really neat. Well, if you have further questions about where I fall on that side, Mr. Winter Raven, you're going to want to be around for that AMA, because that would be a question I would answer. Could I answer it here? Yes. Am I going to? No. Why? Well, where's the fun in that? Debating whether or not I want to do this as an underhand grip, because I've been doing overhand grip rows. I think I'm going to stick to overhand grip today, though. So we're going to do this. Then I'm going to probably go down weight. Probably go 135-ish. And then hit wide grip rows. I think I like that. We saw the test result. Should I share mine? 22, oh right, we already got 22 votes on it? That's awesome. I didn't realize I'd gotten that many votes. That actually makes me really happy. Cool. All right. Let me focus. I'm gonna do one more set. Focus. Come on, 3 more. Alright, that felt good. It's not bad. I'm going to stick without the belt. I need more oxygen than I need pressure. Ooh, lightheaded. Alright, yeah. I'm going to leave the leg plates right there, because we do have shrugs. I'm going to throw quarters on. I think we'll start with 145. See how that feels. Dude, this is... Alright, The Symbol Remains by Blue Oyster Cult. Good album. About halfway through it. It's banger after banger. I'd say It's got a lot of similarities to Fire of Unknown Origins. If you like that album, you know, Burning for You, tracks like that. As far as the test is concerned, well, it's the BDSM test. But what I could do is retake it live on the stream. I could do that. That might be fun. All right. So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna do alternating sets here of 50-pound hammer curls and wide grip rows. So we're gonna go, let's see. Do we want to go? Yeah, we want that right there. We'll tilt the camera up a touch. Oh, hang on, this is slightly off. There we go. There we go. That should get better sound capture, I think. Should check Discord after. All right, I'll do a set, then I'll check it, okay? All right, that's not bad. All right, let's see what's on the Discord then. That was 12. I'll put that in. Just put it in, probably NSFW chat. Oh, all right. Well, you get a lot of higher scores, I think, than I do, but there's quite a lot in common. Very nice. Let's hit another. We'll do a set of wide grip rows now, and then after we do wide grip rows, we'll move you back to the center stage. All right, so now for these, we still want the general same angle, right? So we still want the bent over. The difference is, right, instead of our hands being here, our hands are right here. So really trying to get that wide pull. All right, this is 145, excuse me. I think I'll stick with that. That felt pretty good. So we got 8 sets done, 22 to go. Holy shit. Of course, this is all our heavy stuff, compound movements, so as we keep going, I'll be able to move them faster. Big Red, I have no idea what any teams in the NFL are doing. When it comes to the National Football League, assume I'm clueless until proven otherwise. 3. It's good. Status is a little low. Control and power play over most all also tendencies, that's for sure. All right. I'll give you all a taste of what I'm going to say in the NSFW. I won't give the full details. I'm pretty versatile, but it has to feel real to me. All right? I'm pretty versatile, but it has to feel real to me. So think about what that means. All right, I'm gonna try an underhand grip here. I haven't done that yet today. Well, so I think there's a difference between sadist and dominant. If you enjoy the control and the power, that's dominant. If you enjoy the other's suffering and pain, that's a sadist. Big difference there. Right, that's why BDSM is an acronym and it's a compound acronym. DS is dominant submission, SM is sadism masochism. They're not the same. Wait a minute. That'll work. Ooh. All right. All right, so we're halfway through biceps. We're gonna do 2 sets of incline curls, 2 sets of dumbbell preachers, and 2 sets of concentration curls. We'll do 1 more set of bent over rows, 3 sets of shrugs, 3 sets of upright rows for the traps. We'll do 3 sets of bent over lat raises, really work those rear delts. Actually, no, we'll do 3 sets of those. We'll do 2 sets of single arm rows, and then 1 set of bent over back flies. Yeah, I like that. Hang on, so I gotta write that down. And then, let's see, lat rows are... Perfect. Okay, we got the rest of our workout plan done. So, I've got 1 more set of bent over rows, and then we're gonna move on to shrugs. Join March Madness 6, the evil men's basketball want to ruin it by expansion and shrinking AQs to small conferences. Yeah, I've seen Greg Stanky wants to be behind that. Look, I told you he was the devil. The fact that he wanted to import Texas into the SEC is proof of that. He's gonna kill the sport. Whatever, that's why I said tendencies. Yeah, no, I get that. But that maybe would explain why, if you rank dominant more than you rank sadist, that's probably why. If you enjoy the power and control more than you enjoy the suffering and the pain of someone else, then that would explain that, right? Or maybe a better way to say it is, do you enjoy someone's suffering, pain, or do you enjoy someone's submission and obedience, right? One's a sadist and one's a dom. All right, here we go. Hey, Porthos, good to see you. All right, heat this up. God, this is awesome. This song's The Return of Saint Cecilia. This and Train True. Fantastic. It's like some Secret Treaties era Blue Oyster Cult. It's terrific. All right, this is one of the strongest records I've heard from them. Woo! All right, let's do lat raises, and then shrugs next. I like it. 30s on that. Instantly grand angle for roast. Well, that's why I moved you guys over here. Because we're doing a lot of bent over work today. I want you to have a better view of that. A lot more, but like I said there, I'm struggling with my BS. Yeah. What I'm trying to, right, think about it. What I'm trying to show y'all, yes, I get, okay, you can see my butt, whatever. That's not the point. The point is y'all can actually see the muscles contracting in my lats. You can't really see that from dead on. It's not high enough. So, you know, whether or not it's suggestive is irrelevant to me. If some of y'all like it, great, congratulations. But that's not why I'm doing it. And you'll know that's not why I'm doing it. Enjoy it, by all means, but the reason I'm doing that is to show, right, what I'm trying to achieve is that contraction in the lats. Really squeeze to get that kind of Koopa shell on the back, you know? I'm not just here to ogle you. See, I have no problem with the people that are, as long as they can maintain a conversation and don't try to get you kicked off the platform. Where's the milk? What exercise do you do for calves, hamstrings, and quads? Oreos, so those are 3 different muscles. I do target them all on leg day, but those are going to require different exercises to hit properly. Calves, with calves, really all you can do are raises. The thing with the calf muscle is that it's pretty one directional. It's a bit like the bicep in that sense, right? It can flex and it can release. But it's not, apart from a deficit calf raise where maybe you've got your toes on some platform and you're sinking beneath, it's only going to go one way. Same thing with the bicep. You can contract it, you can release it. There's not a ton else you can do with the bicep. You can cant the angle at different ways, to hit different heads, but it's still the same muscle, it's still the same contraction. With hamstrings and glutes go together for me. Hamstrings and glutes go together. Why? Because they're both part of the posterior chain. The posterior chain is a series of muscles starting at about your rib cage and going all the way down to the back of your knees. And what those muscles are most in charge of are going to be your deadlifts and your squats, and any variations of those, with a few exceptions, I'll explain. In particular, deadlifts and the hip hinge motion, right? If you're deadlifting, right, you can see, I'll show you guys. So if you're deadlifting, right, you're squeezing at the bottom, you're squeezing your hamstrings and pulling your glutes up and pushing out with the hips to lock out with a deadlift. With the Romanian, it's the opposite. You focus on the eccentric. So you come down and you feel the stretch in your hamstrings, right? So there's a pretty good example of that. As for quadriceps, now you can hit squats. Squats really depends on where you're placing the bar, how deep you're going, and what kind of weight you're doing. So the squat, if you're focusing on the eccentric, you do something like a pause squat, something like a low bar, you're going to be hitting a lot of that posterior chain right down in here, squeezing up with your glutes and your hams. But let's say something like a sissy squat, or a squat with an elevation under your heels, where you're going to be able to drive the knees out further forward. That's going to hit your quadriceps more, as an instance. Leg press, to me, is more of a quadriceps exercise than a hamstrings exercise. If you go deep enough, your hams and glutes will get worked some, but because you're not having to engage your posterior chain because you're sitting, it's, to me, more of a quads exercise. Leg extensions and leg curls are excellent additions to hypertrophy. While I would be hesitant to classify them as, prime mover workouts, because they're not, they are very good additions. Leg extensions for quads and leg curls for calves, respectively. I know a lot of people have a downer on the prone leg curl versus the seated leg curl. I prefer the prone one because I feel like I get a better stretch, especially if you place the starting bar where it should be. I feel like you can really control the eccentric, or you can do a drop set, which is a lot of fun. Hopefully that's what you're looking at. Yeah, okay, there's one other. For calves, if you want huge calves, do a lot of cardio, a lot of hiking, because when you're walking, or if you're running, like trail running, that will work your calves something fierce. Only got dumbbells and a bench at home. Hard to work all the muscles, I gotta get more gear. So if you've got dumbbells and a bench, you can still do, if you've got some sort of elevated platform, you can do deficit lunges. Lunges are a really good exercise. Depending on where you put your front foot, that's going to determine whether or not it's quad-centric or hamstring-centric. For me, lunges are a good kind of mix of both. And you can vary it really to bias one or the other. The other one is the Bulgarian, right? So your Bulgarians, you put a knee up on a raised platform, like a bar or a bench, right? You come down like this. That one you should feel. I feel it a lot in my hamstrings and my glutes, but you can feel it in your quads as well, depending on how you place your legs. Made it to Extreme Hay Zone. All right. Hopefully that helps. I need to continue working here. So let's hit a set of bent over lat raises. So for these, now a lot of people just do lateral raises like this, and those are great for your delts. But if you bend, you'll find that they hit your lats really well. You can squeeze them. This is a hypertrophy exercise, so this is going to be sets of 12 to 15 in general. I may even go higher than that. And it's really about, control the eccentric. So I'm going to start bent over, then move to about a 45-degree angle, and then move to vertical. And after this set, I'm going to move y'all back to the center. I feel like I'm talking so much, I can't breathe. Feel that. That's good. See, 100. Do some shrugs. This would be 225, I think. Let's see. 125. Yeah, 225. We'll start here. If it's too easy, I'll go up weight. If it's too hard, I'll go down weight. But it's time to move y'all back. Starling Marte being a fucking idiot again? Shocker. He's been doing that since he was in Pittsburgh. All right. Nice. Dude, I mean, lateral raises are not supposed to be a high dumbbell. Those are only 30s, right? And I'm a pretty big dude. You're supposed to be doing those for 12 to 15 reps, a lower weight, really working on that contraction, that squeeze, controlling the eccentric. All right. So let's hit some shrugs. This one's pretty easy enough. Really all we're doing here is we're working traps. I can move you guys a bit further in, I think. They're a bit far out. That's a little bit better. $80 games for Naval Marte. What is it with guys named Marte and being a fucking idiot? All right, that's pretty good. It felt pretty solid. Definitely harder to get a grip. I might do an underhand, but that felt pretty solid. We'll keep it at that. Office is officing. All right, Zone. Appreciate the lurk. Glad to have you in here. All right. I think I actually will move you guys a bit further away for this one. So if I'm at 45 degrees, move you guys just a bit further back. Yeah. Some mood for Nats fans besides a season in the abyss. What Nats fans are that depressed about it? We're in the middle of a rebuild. We're not dumb. We know that. Yeah, I mean, honestly, last year we spent a good chunk of last year out of the NL East basement. We were a substantially improved team from 2022 to 2023. If that improvement continues, I would love to see us be 500 this year. I have no interest. I have no delusions of being a playoff contender. If the Nats take another step, closer to about 500 this year, I'll consider the season a success. We knew it was going to be a deep rebuild. The 2019 core was not sustainable. So Big Red, I take exception to your premise there. I don't think your premise is correct. I'm not calling this the abyss. You know, we knew it had to happen. We've got 2019 to cling on to, so we're just fine. As opposed to, you know, Cincinnati fans who haven't seen success since what, the 1980s? You throw me a bar, I'll throw you right back. All right, so really work on, we're gonna do a 45-degree angle here. We're really trying to contract the lats, really trying to focus on that. Come on. That's tough. Oh my God, this song is literally called Florida Man. There's that alone, that's all gravy with me. The lats feel really weird to engage. So, right, there are different kinds of ways to engage the lats. They're a big muscle, right? It's a big slab on the midsection of your back. So, let's sit on the dumbbells just to explain it, right? So, you can see the lats contract with a pull down. That can be wide grip, narrow grip, right? They can contract with a row, and that could be, right, seated with a cable, or it can be bent over. And they contract right with what I'm doing now. So there's lots and lots of ways to engage your lats. One of my favorites that I can't do here, if you have access to in the gym, is the chest supported row. So this machine looks like you're standing on a platform. There'll be a pad right about here. You lay your chest on it, you really extend all the way, contract up, and you really get a good stretch at the bottom. Because your lats are very big, you want that big contraction and that big expansion. You want a full range of motion. Your lats are not a muscle where you need to be trying to go for maximum weight. To me, there's very little value in trying to row for sets of 5 or row for sets of 3. To me, you're better off doing sets of 8 to 12, really focusing on that stretch, that hypertrophy. Because, right, why would you do lats? The whole point of lats is, to me, it's the aesthetic, to get that Cooper shell look. And to me, to do that, range of motion matters more, hypertrophy matters more. So I hope that explains it. Let's do another set here. We're gonna go switch grip. So I want to do an extra set or two here. I'm having trouble keeping grip strength. I need to preserve grip strength for all the other exercises. All right, so switch grip for me. My rule with switch grip, it can help you on a lot of exercises, deadlifts, Romanians, shrugs, even rows. But what you do to one arm, you must do to the other, okay? That's my big cardinal rule. If you're right-handed, don't always switch grip with right hand under. Alternate it. If you do that, you're drastically decreasing the risk of an elbow or bicep injury when doing something heavy like a deadlift. Ten, 11, 12. Not bad. I like that. That felt good. So you got one more set of the lat raises for this one. Like slightly bent knees, right? Straight back. This one almost works your rear delts as much, or if not more, than your lats. And rear delts are technically part of your shoulders, which I tend to work on push. But what I found is that your front delts, that's very much a push. Your sides, the top parts of that deltoid muscle is great for even like behind the neck. For me, I really find the rear delts are best hit on pull day. My pulling exercises tend to hit them better. So your mileage may vary. Do it as you see fit. But I tend to treat rear delts as a back muscle with the lats rather than a shoulder muscle with the rest of the delts. Well, that's also the biggest visible muscle on the back. I don't know that. I would think they are, but I don't know that. Okay. Here we go. God, this song, this is The Alchemist by Blue Oyster Cult. Dude, this entire album is awesome. It's one of the best albums of the 2020s I've ever heard. Off. Yeah. Ad for TikTok. So, alright, text from my mom about family drama. It's out of my control. Okay. So let's see. Now we've got upright rows and dumbbell preacher curls. So we're gonna do, let's see, which band? Blue Oyster Cult. Yeah, I'm listening to the album called The Symbol Remains. Now if you've ever listened to a Blue Oyster Cult album, or seen a Blue Oyster Cult album, you'll know all about the symbol of Kronos, which is sort of, looks like a cross mixed with an upside down question mark. And the Blue Oyster Cult's been using that symbol since their first album released in 1972. So it's pretty cool. But if you like good guitar-driven rock that's a little bit on the occult side, a little bit on the progressive side, and a little bit on that 70s to 80s heavy metal side, not quite Metallica, maybe more Saxon or Diamond Head or even Dio or Black Sabbath, you'll love Blue Oyster Cult. A lot of people call them like the thinking man's rock band, which I think is so fucking pretentious, but you know, there's an argument to be made there. I don't know, I just really like the music. Oh, Colt. Porthos, you ever listen to Blue Oyster Cult? All right, so the way you're supposed to do this is get down. This needs to be further forward. Oh. I need to go down weight, this is too heavy. We'll do a set of 8 here, but I don't like this as much as a normal preacher curl. I don't feel there's a lot of control. I feel some bicep pull there, but I don't think I care for that. That's all right. This is experimental. I've never done this before, so I'm just feeling it out. Because I can do a barbell preacher curl of 100 pounds, but this is way less stable. There's the pull way at the bottom. I'm gonna go down to 20 pounds the next set. Not because I don't feel like I can do that weight, but I feel like it's very awkward. I don't feel like I've got good control over it. I don't want to control the eccentric there. A preacher curl is not something you're supposed to be doing heavy weight on. That would defeat the purpose. So I'm gonna go down weight, see how that feels. Not sure I'm a huge fan of that. I might keep preacher curls to the site workouts. Okay, so we've got, let's see, upright rows next. All right, so we'll go down to 135. I believe that's the last of the barbell exercises, so we can put the plate back, which is nice. Normally I want to do this with dumbbells, but I've got dumbbells set up for something else. We'll do it with the barbell, since it's already kind of set up. You know what? Again, I really like to squeeze the hypertrophy here. I'd rather have less weight, more reps. So I'm gonna go 115 here instead of 135. By the way, today is Financial Fitness Friday, so at the end of the workout, we will talk money, we will talk the stock market, all that jazz. This needs to be up a bit more. That's more like it. Really focus on squeezing the traps here. This is a traps and rear delts exercise, right? You're pulling up. You really want to, you shouldn't be just doing this. This gets you nothing. Work your forearms a bit, I guess, but the key on this workout, yeah, you want to come all the way down to stretch, but the most important chunk of the range of motion on this exercise is from here to about here. It's that shrug at the top. So it's almost like a compound between an upright row and a shrug. That's how I do them, that's how I like them, and that's how I feel, right? You guys see whenever I'm doing, streams inside, you see those big traps, they look really big. This is one of the big reasons why. This, and like trap bar dumbbells, or trap bar shrugs, trap bar deadlifts, helps a lot too. Speaking of, I'm gonna give the trap bar to the homies at the site gym. That's gonna be my gift to them. All right, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Come on. Come on, 12 or 2. That's 12. I feel it's just about bang on where it needs to be. Get that squeeze at the top. I think we're gonna stick to 115. That felt really good. Look at Chinese mysticism. Neat. All right. Having now listened to the entire discography of the band, for Blue Oyster Cult, if I had to pick 3 albums to listen to, I would have to go with Secret Treaties. To me, that's their best early album. Fire of Unknown Origin, which is their best sort of well-known album. And honestly, this, The Symbol Remains, which is an absolute gem released during the pandemic that kind of got missed out on. This is fantastic. This is one of the best albums I've heard in a hot minute. I got 2 more songs left, but definitely a really big fan of this. Yoshi Yamamoto got lit up his first regular season game. Have pitchers and catchers have reported, but I don't think MLB has started yet, has it? Is that Japanese league? I don't know. All right, so we're gonna go, right, this is the preacher curl. So we're gonna go all the way down, kind of slightly below parallel, back up. All right, Tally, good to see you. Hey, Big Red. I think John is hiding in the box, was hanging out here earlier, and I promised him a shout out. Do you think you can do it? His name's, if you scroll up in the chat, you'll see his name. If you don't know how to do that, let me know and I'll do it. Teachers of San Diego played 2 games in Korea. Interesting. Dude, I love that. I would love to see, obviously Korea doesn't make sense of the time differences, but I would love to see professional MLB teams in more cities outside of the US. Love to see a Mexico City team because that would make Colorado seem like child's play with regards to hitting dingers. I'd love to see a team in, maybe Monterrey, San Juan, Puerto Rico. Maybe even try and revive relations with Cuba. Yeah, they're communists, that's a stupid fucking system, but I feel like a Havana baseball team would be really good. Cuba's not been a threat to us since 1991, and it's time we stop treating them like an economic pariah. Rather, we treat them like, a poorly run system. We show them a better way, right? Why did the Soviet Union collapse? Well, a big part of it was because we started showing them American goods. And, the Soviet citizenry realized, oh shit, our living standards suck compared to capitalist countries. The San Juan Mofongo men. Hey, Papi, give me the Mofongo. All right, let's try this. Okay, that's not bad. You got to do exclamation mark SO, Big Red. Come on. 13. Nope. Preachers. These are dumbbell preachers. Concentration curls are different. 15. We will do concentrations, just not yet. One. 2. 3. 7. Come on. 8, 9. That's right. You got that right, Lab. 10, 11, 12. I had neither. I was watching a YouTube video about different bicep exercises. 13, 14, 15. I don't love that. And I think I'd stick with regular easy curl preachers. I feel like I get a better range of motion there. But that's not terrible. In a pinch, if you don't have access to regular preacher curls, that's not bad. Yeah, I wasn't bad. So go 15 there. I didn't like doing it with 30-pound dumbbells. Those are only 20-pound dumbbells. Really trying to focus the eccentric on those. I would say I'm not going to do that all the time, but it wasn't bad. Nice job, Captain. I'm at 2,500, so you're getting close. Hey, 2983 or 2928951. Thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the bullpen. So we're gonna go lab. Damn it. There we go. We go exclamation mark lab. Show off my homeboy's channel here. He released a video about the two of us going cliff jumping in Puerto Rico recently, so check that out if you want to see gratuitous shots of me being shirtless and jumping off a cliff in the jungle. Thank you very much for the follow. That's I think we're at 1,972. We're very close to 2,000. I'd love to hit it before I head out of here in April, but God only knows. Yeah, by the way, we'll talk about financial stuff at the end of the workout, but definitely huge fan of Re-Automotive, especially after this recent deal with Airbus. Super low volume stock at the moment. If you want, it's a high risk play. If things work out, that company that'll be a 10-bagger if not more. That is such an undervalued stock. The market cap's only like 64 mil right now. I mean, they've already got orders worth that much, and they still got plenty of cash and no debt. So, not to mention the ticker, of course, has the potential for Wall Street bets to go absolutely nuts over it. So if you want a good play, strongly recommend that. I'll talk more about that company at the end of the workout. We still got a ways to go, but we're moving at a pretty solid pace, I feel like. All right. Of that, that'll be our last barbell set. All right, we got one more set of upright rows. We've got incline curls, single arm rows, concentration curls, and back flies after this. So I think we'll do incline curls. And that is the end of the Blue Oyster Cult discography right there. I gotta say, that is one of the best albums I've heard produced in the last 10 years. The Symbol Remains by Blue Oyster Cult. Fantastic record. That's the best one I would say that they made since Fire of Unknown Origin. It's really that good. You know, a lot of people think of me as like a prog rock nut, and I do like prog rock. The Blue Oyster Cult tried that with Imaginos, a concept album. I thought it was kind of a stupid, I didn't like Imaginos. You'd think I did, but come on, get in there. We're gonna be a bitch today, aren't we? There we go. No, fuck. God damn it. Decided, what if I just decided to be completely fucking uncooperative today? There we go. Got it. There we go. Set for incline curls now. Yeah, Lab is actually talking about going back over to Asia. If you want to talk to the audience about that, bro, that'd be a good one. There we go. We'll give John a shout out here. You guys want to see an absolute giga chat of a man, go check out John. He can squat like north of 500 pounds. He makes me look like a chump. Dude is huge. He weighs less than I do. He weighs like 190 pounds, and he can squat damn near like 3 times his body weight. It's insane. Seriously. Let's talk about fucking inspirational. Go check that homie out. Let's go for 40s here. We'll go a little bit heavier on the incline curls. We go a little bit lighter on the concentration curls, but really go high reps on those. I think that's the move. Yeah, well, my main man, Lab Boys, he's been moving. Ain't that right? Not to mention, I will say, come the 13th, we're going to have that throwdown. That's going to be one hell of a shindig. All right. There's one other. I don't typically go to Billy Joel for workout music, but there is one song of his that fucking slaps for working out too. And it's actually, I prefer the live version. He did this somewhere in the mid-1980s at a concert in Long Island, which is, that's where he's from. And the song's off the Nylon Curtain album. It's called Pressure. It's a good song to work out to. Oh, cutting's a bitch. Bro, my scale told me I was at 14.4% body fat today, and I'm like, that's flattering, but fuck no. All right, so one cool thing with incline curls that I like is instead of doing them forward, I cant my elbows out. I really get a good stretch. That's the goal on these. Oh. Try pressure, bro. Oh. Yeah, so I'm really kind of going that canted outside. Feels it. Good. 7. Within you, I loaded guns in your face. Oh, yes. Oh, that hurts. Let's go. I didn't measure them too. I actually have the tape measure. I can go do that afterwards. They're probably around 17 inches for the guns right now. It ain't bad. Jesus, that hurt. That was good. I really like that. That's strong. I usually don't hit 10 reps on 40 dumbbells there, especially with that level of control. All right, last set upright rows. And your Peter Pan advice, you have no scars on your face. Eight. Come on. Oh, that hurts. Tell you what it means. Pressure. Pressure. Don't ask for help. You're all alone. Pressure. You'll have to answer to your own. Pressure. I'm sure you have some cosmic rationale. Here you are in the night. 2 men out and 3 men on. Nowhere to look but inside where we respond to it. this last set on incline curls really fucking hard. I'll give myself a minute to rest. It's the name of that workout called Those Are Upright Rows. I have no concept of a large bicep size is like in circumference. I have no idea either. Join the club. You assign me a role in your Discord server. You have to accept the rules in the rules channel. You have to go to the role select channel once you've done that. Raccoon City Survivor, ping an admin to help you further. I can't do that right now while I'm live. I have a new name and it's like this one. Yeah, just hit the, you gotta accept the rules first. That's how that works. You can only get any of the other rules after you've accepted the rules. The big rule, I'm really trying to have to, I don't want to have to crack down and enforce this as much, but I'm gonna have to, is don't DM me with how's your day going, because I have dozens of people who do that, and it's really disrespectful. I know it's done with good intentions, but when I have 10 plus people asking me the same question every day, it's really annoying. Please, I built the server for that exact purpose. Please use it. My anus has never been so pampered. No, it has been. I can think of one way it has been, if you know what I'm saying. He feels like a hot girl on Tinder. I mean, okay, right. Now, if you have something private, now I say this, and it's rule 7. If you have something private or confidential that you want to share with me, by all means use DMs. But just don't abuse my willingness to keep a line of, personal connection like that open with just spamming how are you doing every single day in there. That's just annoying. Really not trying to be fucking entitled or anything, but you know what I'm saying, right? It's put yourself in my shoes. Right now, my day's going great. It sounds like some of the family drama that has occurred over the last few days is simmering down. My older brother I'm just gonna put it this way. My older brother has an important choice to make in his life. And if he chooses the wrong one, it is going to do an immense amount of damage with his relationship with me. And frankly, that's damage he can ill afford at this point. He doesn't want to do that. That's gonna, if he makes the poor choice here, he is choosing to throw away his life for a very, very toxic relationship. He shouldn't do that. All right. Double shout out. Dude, that's all right. Lab gets plenty. Lab Boys, I always shout out Lab Boys as much as I fucking want, man. His content's better than mine anyway. Go look at how much effort he put into the video editing for those Puerto Rico jump videos. And it blows my mind. Like, people want to see more shit of me outside the gym. There you go. I'm telling you, go give Lab Boys TV a follow. His shit is great. Seriously. Or not a follow, sorry, a subscribe. YouTube calls them subscribers, whereas we call them followers here on Twitch. I'm just saying, you're not going to find better content. If you want, real talk, right? Lab is not only my flesh and blood bro, but he's also really my best friend. We're fucking there for each other, so, you really want to get a good insight into what my life is like off screen. You're not going to get a better window. Anyway. All right, let's hit this last set. 2, 3, 4. 7, 8, 9. Oh, yes! Oh, that hurts so good. That's 10. Woo! You know that's good when you start getting real lightheaded. Fuck, that is good. Alright, now we go to single arm rows and concentration curls. So we'll go 30 pounds for the concentration curl. Actually, you know what? Let's stick with 40 for the first one, and then for the single arm rows, we need heavy weight. We need, let's go to 80s. Hey, welcome back, Grogster. No pain, no gain, for sure, for sure. That one, I could feel it. I could feel my biceps really getting stretched out good there on the eccentric on the 10th rep. That's what you want, right? I'm telling you, try incline curls because of the angle your elbows are at, right? So if you're at an incline curl, or if you're just sitting up, a seated curl, your elbows are right here. That's good. If you're at an incline curl, your elbows are back here. You're really stretching them on the bottom end. Even better, if you can't them, right, now you're going, oh, just doing this here, I can feel it with no weight. Really strongly recommend canted incline curls to get that maximum stretch, that maximum hypertrophy. It hurts. Like that's not a fun biceps curl exercise to do. You will be challenged with 20 and 30 pound dumbbells. For me, I'm only feeling my shit today. Like I'm feeling strong, and I could only still get 40. I was struggling on those last few reps. So, okay, let's go with. Yeah, I mentioned Saxon earlier. Let's play some Saxon. Let's go Wheels of Steel by Saxon. All right, what we're gonna do here, single arm rows. Really focus on that squeeze at the top. Place my balance correctly so that I don't fall over. That'd be bad. With an 80 pound dumbbell, we don't want to do that. That's a good way to crush something. You can see the stretch down there. You see the back, the lat muscle right there stretching. Felt good. It's 12. It's really all about that stretch there, the eccentric. Whew, that's good. A little more good news when I go home for lunch. Share it with the... Good to see you, Dodge. I'll give you a shout out, but tell you what, share it with the, share it with everybody here. Share it with the community, and I'll give you a shout out. So your advice is starting a Roth IRA nearly maxed out for 2024. Let's freaking go! I love to hear that. We'll talk finances after the workout's done. Question, do you go for certain reps or do you go a little till failure? I generally like to lift till failure for maybe a couple of sets of workout. I'm not one of these people that thinks you should do it on every single workout. I feel like if you do that, you're opening yourself to being prone to injury. If you really know your body well, and it works for you, by all means, continue doing it. For me, I like to burn out on 2, 3 reps tops. Or sorry, 2, 3 sets tops. All right, like when I'm benching, you guys have seen me do this. I usually do my heavy stuff, heavy stuff, heavy stuff, and at the end I'll go down weight and go for more reps. Usually that's pretty close to, if not at, failure. Tell you when I get home, don't want to jinx it. Well, Dodge, on behalf of my community, we're all rooting for you. You know, I already told him about the Myrtle job coming up Monday. I'm hoping you nail that interview, you get out there. You've always wanted to be in the Strand, and this has been the perfect stepping stone for you. But we've gone to the beach enough there to where I've seen your face. You're just, there's a certain happiness that when you're out at the Strand, the only time I've ever seen it match is when you're in Columbia walking around USC. Those 2 places are where you're meant to be. One of those 2. It's gonna take hard work. You know, I know you've been prepping for that interview. You gotta keep fucking doing it. My community's here to help you in any way we can. Because they know what it means to me as well. I've had a vested interest in seeing you succeed. And you know, look, I'm moving out to Hawaii. You know, it's known at this point. I think you're better off out in the Strand or in Columbia. It's going to be the next chapter in your exciting life, you know? All right. Man, Saxon kicks ass, by the way. This is a great song. Okay, so we're going to hit lab. You were asking for a little bit more information on this exercise. So this is a single arm row. Now, there is a difference between this and a croc row. Now you can do either. I prefer the single arm row to a croc row. The single arm row is where you use a bench to balance yourself, and you try to isolate by really letting a big stretch come down here. You try to keep your torso relatively flat. You try to keep your shoulders relatively square, but you really stretch on the eccentric here and you pull up, right? You can do it with a parallel grip, you can do it with a pronated grip, or you can even do it with a supinated grip to work different areas on your lat. What you do to one side, you do to the other. Now a croc row would be if I put this up at an incline like this, and I was twisting at the torso. Now a croc row is really great for explosiveness, but it does not get the same level of hypertrophy that a single arm row does. And if I'm looking for explosiveness, I think there are better options than a dumbbell croc row. What you'll find, right, so if I'm able to single arm row with 80 pounds, like there is no dumbbell weight, even the 90s here would not be enough for me to effectively croc row with. So I tend to not do croc rows as much. If you have access to, 100 plus pound dumbbells, then hey, more power to you, but I still think it's inferior. A croc row, you'd be better off with a chest supported hammer strength row if you really wanted to just go in one at a time. That's just my opinion though. If you find croc rows work for you, more power to you. They're not a bad exercise, they're just not something I feel works very well for me. To me, with a lot of workouts and a lot of different variations on basics, I think you gotta do the basics: bench, squat, deads, rows, pull-ups, press. But beyond that, curls, what variations you choose to do should be a feel thing. You should try and go for something where you feel the pain at the last few reps, not in an injury way, but in a fatigue and soreness way. So lab, I hope that helps explain it. All right, let's finish this. All right, so again, we want a flat back, just really stretch here. We'll go pronated. Yeah, pronated grip's harder. reps, 10 a.m. meeting. Have a good rest of your lift. Bet, bro. If you can get back in later, by all means. I'll probably be live till about 11:30 to noon. Come on. All right, concentration curls. All right, so we got 2 sets of concentrations, 1 set of back flies, and we're done. And I could have done this workout a little faster, but I've gotten a lot of good questions today. And part of this stream is educational. I like teaching you guys what I know because I like seeing people improve and succeed. That's very much a big reason why I do what I do. So we're gonna do concentration curls. So what Lab Boys was talking about earlier is this. You sit at about legs spread at a 90-degree angle, you sit on a bench, and you concentrate all your efforts on one curl, like this. So the way I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna go till failure. How am I gonna go till failure? I'm gonna go for as many clean reps as I can get. When I feel I'm doing dirty reps, I'm going to take 2 hands, bring it up, and control the eccentric. What's up, hot sauce? Good to see you. Good to see you. And we'll talk financial fitness and all that jazz coming up pretty shortly here. But I got another set to do. Actually, I'm gonna throw in a little grunge. It's starting to rain. Let's get a little Hate to Feel by Alice in Chains. Costco food challenge. Right? Like, I tell my community, yo, go follow or go subscribe to Lab Boys TV. You're gonna see me pop up a lot there. And then nobody does it. Y'all, I mean, it's up to y'all. You know, y'all are missing out. Your problem. Ultimately, I don't care that much. But I do like seeing my homies, you know, my little bro's YouTube channel succeed. You're gonna have such a good time in Hawaii. My biggest trouble is going to be trying not to burn all the time. I'm fairly white, as you can tell, so it's going to cause, I got to be very careful about a sunburn. Yeah. The Costco food challenge was at the beginning of my book. You can see how much skinnier I was. All right, let's go. 1, 2, really control it. 3, 4, 8, fuck, okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, same thing. Ah, yes, good. Plastic Man, paper face, candy hot, water waste, Jane, Saturday. Stare at me with empty eyes and point your words at me. Mirror on the wall will show you what you're scared to see. Ah! Come on, one more. One more of those. So that was 8 good reps, and then 2 eccentrics. That's perfect. We're gonna do that again. I gotta pee. Give me a sec. The fuck? Who left this? Oh, so much better. I will miss that. New Orleans, gotta get it. Share medicine. Used to be curious. Now the shack's sustenance. All this time I swore I'd never be like my old man. What the hey, it's time to face exactly who I am. Yup. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Fuck. All right, come on. Give me one more good rep. Fuck. Okay. Fuck. Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh, I'm really struggling. Look, that's hard. Yeah, that backflip hurt. It knocked me out of. I got the wind knocked out of me when it happened. 2, 3, 4. 2. 6, 7, 8. One more. I can feel my neck cramping up there. Holy shit. Yes! All right, we are down to 1 set. And it's gonna be back flies. So what we're gonna do here, real simple. All right, we'll be bent over and we're gonna be flying. Oh, pop my back. By the way, the best grunge band was Alice in Chains. And it's not even close. Fight me. All right. So we're gonna go to burnout on this one as well. So that last one was to failure, right? You guys saw I did 8 reps, and I did 2 partials, right? Where I took my other hand, curled it up, and fought it on the way down. So I didn't have the strength to do another full rep. A lot of pressure on my lower spine due to an accident I had 4 years ago. All right, well, you know, there's ways to work on that, obviously. Not a doctor, I'm just a dude who lifts. So do be aware of that. That reminds me of a good song. I'm gonna jump genres a bit, but this would be the perfect song to finish up on. I don't have all the answers. I just do the best I can. And to mirror that mindset, now it's time to play I'm Just a Singer in a Rock and Roll Band by the Moody Blues. Another fantastic band. Love the Moody Blues. Frankly, if I were to pick 5 albums to take with me on a desert island, and that was all the music I could ever listen to for the rest of my life, Days of Future Past by the Moody Blues 100% makes that list. I'd probably go, I thought about this once. Days of Future Past, Relayer by Yes, Moving Pictures by Rush, Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd, probably 5150 by Van Halen. So many great choices. You know, that's only 5, you know. I mean, it's hard because, you know, you think about like Jazz by Queen, Dirt by Alice in Chains. the original Van Halen 1 album. Master of Reality by Black Sabbath, Ride the Lightning by Metallica, Peace Sells by Megadeth. A lot of amazing choices. Anyway, to this. Alright, so the way I do this, I tend to put the weight behind the legs and extend the legs out, really fold up over the legs. The reason for this is I like keeping my back as close to flat as I can. So you know what? Put it on a slight decline, I'll make it even easier. Oh, that's much better. Master of Puppets is excellent. It's a terrific album. I just like Ride the Lightning a bit more. It feels a bit more raw to me. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. No rock and roll band. 7, 8, 9, 10. Come on. Please tell me. 14. 15. Alright, that's it. I'm done. Woo! I'm sad. Scorching desire. Alright, we are done with our workout. That was a damn good one too, I'd say. Do a little flexing here, a little showing off, a little posing, because that, or certainly earned the right to do that, I think. First off, we're going to write down, the last one, 16 reps, 20 dumbbells, and write down our protein, 380, calories, 64 protein, 7 fat, 17 carbs. Yes, I've memorized it because I have that protein shake 5 to 6 times a week. All right, now, I'm going to put that up, grab, oh, who the fuck, man, someone really used my Sharpie and then did not put the cap back on. This is how it dries out. Wonder if it still works. Come on, dick move. Oh well. So, move this out the way, and we're now going to talk about Financial Fitness Fridays. All right. So, that backflip looked painful in the water in Puerto Rico. It really is a great video, and if you ever want to travel to Puerto Rico, that video is a good guide of fun things to do. A lot of really good content in there, so strongly recommend it. But yeah, Master of Puppets kicks ass. It's just not my personal favorite. It's close. Really it's the first 4 Metallica albums for me that stand out. And Justice for All, Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning, and Master of Puppets are all excellent. I think I'd probably go Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets, Kill 'Em All, and Justice for All. But it's a close 1, 2, 3, 4 finish. I think I just like Ride the Lightning a touch more. Fade to Black is almost the metal Freebird. I'd put it in that category. And then what I really love about Kill 'Em All and the title track, Ride the Lightning, is a lot of those songs were written by Dave Mustaine of Megadeth. And people get on Dave Mustaine and say he's this and that and the other, but you know what he is really fucking talented. Because Megadeth is a fantastic band as well. They say Mustaine is difficult to work with, but you know what? So is Frank Zappa, and Frank Zappa is one of the greatest geniuses of music ever, if you ask me. So, a lot of time, people who are genuinely dedicated to their craft are very much like that. Honestly, I'd probably go with that as a comparison. I'd consider someone like Dave Mustaine similar to the Frank Zappa of metal. I kind of like that as a comparison. It might be a bit inaccurate, but There are some obvious parallels. Enter Sandman is one of my all-time favorite songs. That is a great song, and I'm not dissing the Black Album. I just don't think the Black Album's on the same level as the Metallica albums released in the 1980s. Just my opinion. There are lots of other great Metallica albums too. I hear Death Magnetic's really good. You know, some of their new stuff is hit, some of it's miss, but all bands have bad albums. There is, for every band, there's a shit one. Every band has a bad album. Even my favorite band of them all, Yes. Big Generator is atrocious. That album's terrible. It was Yes trying to do an 80s sound. And they had already successfully done it once with 90125, but they failed badly with Big Generator. Anyway, let's talk about financial fitness because it is Friday and we have not done that in a hot minute. For those of you who don't know or are new to my channel, yes, my bread and butter is lifting weights, but I'm also a very big fan of personal finance and financial optimization. I am, at this point, you can see in the bottom left corner of your screen, ladies and gentlemen, financially independent, I'm free, 404 days. Well, I'm pleased to announce that due to the excellent performance recently of the United States stock market, this number has all but become a formality. In terms of raw numbers, I'm between 95 and 100% of the way to the original value I decided I would need to be, consider myself financially independent. Now this number, granted, I had come up with in 2018, so inflation probably needs to tick that number up a bit, so maybe this is actually closer to reality. The truth is that because I'm choosing this job in Hawaii and I'm going to get paid well enough to still save maybe not as much in terms of raw percentage of my income, but still a very hefty chunk of my pay out there, I shouldn't have too many issues surpassing that number. And really the truth is, if I needed to, I could quit any conventional work tomorrow and be okay. I'd get by. I'm not going to because this new job is very interesting and it's in a place I think I'm going to love, but we'll see. You know, that's what I love about being financially independent is it gives me the freedom. That's what it was always about. It's always about the FI. The RE is just a nice, hey, in case of emergency, break glass option. I don't hate my job, and I think I'm going to like my new one. So as a result, you know, don't need to go there. But before we get started, I forgot. I said I was going to pose and flex a little bit, show off what we worked today. So show off the traps. There we go, looking good. Show off the guns. Forearms. And then the lats. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about financial independence. By the way, if any of y'all have questions, fitness, health, money, the future of this channel, what I'm going to be up to, my itinerary in a few weeks, the NSFW AMA stream this time next weekend, it sounds like. Sounds like a lot of people are voting for Friday. If you haven't, go to my Discord and vote. Because I try to listen to, my audience. But that bulk did work. I think it has. I mean, I know it's worked because my numbers are higher in the gym. I'm stronger. Even now, and when I'm cutting now, I've decided to do my cut a lot slower. I'm at 2,900 calories a day. Sometimes I'll be closer to 3,000. But, on days where I lift, I'm burning 3,500 calories easy. So we ain't got no big issues there. I don't want to, I think what I did on my last cut in 2023 was I restricted a bit too heavy. I was too close to 2,300 calories, 2,400 calories, and it wasn't enough to preserve the muscle in my body. So I'm going 2,900 calories, a little bit more protein, and we're going to see what the results look like. I really want to take it slow. What I want to do in the long run is get to about 10 to 12% body fat, 225 pounds. That's the goal. Now right now, this morning I weighed in at 227 and change, and It said 14% body fat. I think that's bullshit. I would say 18, 19 is probably pretty reasonable at this point. If I, have the lighting in a certain way, I can see some abdominal definition, but nothing I would consider remotely close to a six-pack at the moment. I mean, you can see there's some fat here. There's plenty that has to go. And the belly fat is what always comes the quickest and leaves the slowest. So that's to be expected. That's where most men put their fat. The fat deposits first at the belly. So all I got to do is continue working out. I'll do my daily push-ups and abs as I always do, but that's the goal there. I think, I know the bulk worked in terms of strength, but now that the challenge is to keep as much of that muscle as I can while slowly losing the fat. I started at 232, not quite a month ago, but getting close to it, maybe 4 weeks ago, 3 to 4 weeks ago. So, I'm down 5 pounds in about 4-ish weeks, which is a slow burn. That's exactly what we're looking for. I want to be no faster than 2 weeks a pound, or 2 pounds a week. What worried me is the first couple of weeks I went from 232 to 225, and I think it was a bit too aggressive. I felt a little bit weaker. I noticed, I think it was mostly water weight, but I got to be very careful about that. I'm really trying to do it slowly this time. And if that means, it's going to be July or August till I look the way I want to look, so be it. I've got time. But I'm going to go 6 weeks at a time on a maintenance, 6 weeks at a time on a maintenance. Keep it real basic. So my first maintenance is going to be mid-April. I'm going to schedule it for the 7th through the 13th because that's when I'm going to be hanging out with all my homies in DFW, and there's going to be a lot of good food, and I'm just going to accept that life is going to happen those days. I will try to be as active as I can, but what will happen is what will happen. I'm accepting there will probably be some caloric surplus or caloric balance days. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the financial side, right? We're talking a little bit about, markets. We're talking about how much do you need to retire. Really, the question is how little do you need to retire? You want to invert your perspective. T-minus 11 days, that's right. So for those of you who don't know, I am out of here, driving out of South Carolina, April 2nd. So if you're on the route that I've talked about before, let me know. I would love to meet up with anybody from my community, from my fan base. It's been a lot of fun getting to know you guys online, and putting faces to names is always a lot of fun. So it looks like we got, in general, a bit of a red day on the markets, which is great. Honestly, I could stand to throw a little bit more money back in. I've got a lot of dry powder, so I'm cool with that. Looks like VTI, my big boy stock there, broad-based index fund, is down a bit. S&P is about flat. The Dow is a bit lower. The Nasdaq's about flat at the moment, it's looking like. Tell you what stock has fallen off a cliff is Tesla. Tesla stock is falling, and I think that's a good thing for both the company and for the market at large. Tesla's a great innovative company, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, the amount of the market cap Tesla had created was based on a lot of assumptions that I think were impossible for the company to fulfill. Getting 50+% of market share for the automotive space, which is that that we're talking. That's GM in the 1950s big. I don't think any company, I don't care what it is, can get that kind of market share. Now, where Tesla's trump card is going to be in the space of charging stations. Volkswagen, because of the Dieselgate scandal, has been legally required to try and build out charging networks with Electrify America, and they've done a terrible job. The charging network is behind schedule. There aren't as many chargers as they should be, and a lot of them are broken. Whereas Tesla is pretty good about maintaining theirs. Same thing with ChargePoint. ChargePoint has done a pretty bad job, and a lot of those other competitors have been subsidized by government dollars, whereas Tesla, to an extent, in its early days, yes, for R&D, but nowadays Tesla's more or less on its own. I really think, right now, especially with all the other manufacturers in the United States switching to the NACS charging standard, which is the Tesla charging plug, which is good. I don't really know, I'm not an electrical engineer, which is categorically or quantifiably the best, but I do know that it's best to have one standard for charging, right? You don't have different standards for gasoline nozzles, so why would you have it for electric chargers? Tesla's down 11% this past year. They were at 407 in 2022. Right, again, Tesla took EVs seriously. Tesla made EVs a real player. And right now, if you want an electric vehicle that you can be confident in driving across the country, Tesla's your best option. I know a lot of people don't like Elon, and that's fair. Elon can be an ass sometimes. But disassociate the CEO from the product for a moment and find a better product in terms of an electric vehicle that you can functionally use every day than a Tesla. The Chevy Bolt is a very good car and might be the only legitimate competitor, but the problem is the Chevy Bolt isn't going to have the same kind of access to charging networks that, say, a Model 3 or Model Y is. And that's because General Motors has completely failed on building the infrastructure for charging. The only company that has taken that seriously is Tesla. And even government mandates and obligations haven't made VW take it seriously. Of course, I hate Volkswagen for a lot of different reasons. I think most Volkswagens are pieces of shit, and I wouldn't touch one if you paid me. I think Volkswagen is a terrible company, and if I was going to pick one automotive manufacturer to never buy from, it would probably be either Volkswagen or Nissan. Nissan because the quality control is abysmal. Volkswagen because the quality control is abysmal, the prices are high, and they lie through their teeth about everything they do. So I dislike Volkswagen strongly, to put it mildly. And the biggest reason why, here's the poster child. Let's go back to this whole Dieselgate thing, right? VW had a brilliant little 2-liter diesel engine that cranked out very efficient mileage and decent power, right? It wasn't a world beater, but it's a diesel engine. You're not buying it to be fast. You're buying it to be efficient, especially on highways. And you know, a lot of those VW diesels run at 40, 50 miles to the gallon. But they cheated the emissions because what's funny is they had a fix for the VW diesels that didn't really decrease efficiency. VW just said, no, we'll cheat instead. There was very little gain from the cheating they did. It's just ridiculous. So I have a big downer on Volkswagen. I would sooner buy a Fiat than a Volkswagen. Fiats are notoriously unreliable. Frankly, I'm a GM guy at heart, but that's because I think GM is the best automotive engineering company in the business, run by some of the worst automotive management in the business. General Motors had the premier plug-in hybrid of the 2010s. It's the Chevy Volt. I have one for myself. It was a brilliant little 4-cylinder engine design paired with a reasonably sized battery that could get you about 50 miles on the highway. And GM decided to not use any of that infrastructure in their other projects because Mary Barra wanted to go full scale into EVs in 2019 to 2020. Well, now they're realizing they're in the same production hell that Tesla was in 2018. All these Ultium platform cars, the new Blazer, the Silverado, you name it, the Hummer, are all having lots of problems coming out in production because, as it turns out, going to full-scale EV production has a lot of teething issues. We haven't figured out everything yet. Whereas a plug-in hybrid, first off, the same amount of lithium-ion battery you have to produce, you can produce 10 times the amount of cars, and GM, again, had a technological lead, even over Toyota in this front in the 2010s, and they squandered it. And now the best plug-in hybrids are Toyotas. And Toyota is absolutely crushing it in the market share right now because you can get a RAV4 plug-in hybrid or a Prius Prime or a Camry hybrid or a Corolla hybrid. I think they even do one for the minivan, the Sienna now. So it's a 40 miles per gallon minivan or a 60 miles per gallon Prius. And frankly, the new Prius actually looks pretty damn good. That gets you 30, 40 miles on electric range. So what ended up happening is that Toyota is very clever. One thing, people love to to be down on Toyota for never innovating. The truth is, Toyota really doesn't innovate that much. Toyota waits and watches the market, and they see, okay, other companies are doing this and that and this and that. What we're going to do is take the best ideas, work on them slowly and iteratively. Our design process will take longer time than most other manufacturers. We're never going to be the first to market with a new innovation, but when we do it, we're going to do it right. It'll be reliable, and people will have trust in the name. This is why Toyotas have very high resale value. Are they fun to drive? Not usually. Most Toyotas are pretty dull to drive, but most Toyotas last forever for a reason. Toyotas tend to be really reliable, and Toyota puts it's the philosophy. GM, on the other hand, will sometimes let their engineers actually go wild. They will come up with a brilliant design, but then they will employ cost-cutting measures, or they will botch the production of it, or they will botch the advertising of it, and then they get shocked when it doesn't sell, and then they cancel it a few years later. Some great examples of this over the years, all right? I can go back to the 1960s. The Chevrolet Corvair, brilliant design. Cost-cutting measures gave it the same swing axle design that the Porsche 911 and the VW Beetle had. But of course, because Ralph Nader's a piece of shit, he targeted the Corvair for being unsafe, even though it was no less or more safe than a 911. It's just the American public in 1962 didn't understand how a rear-engine vehicle is meant to be driven. GM fixed the problem in 1965 for the second-generation Corvair, which is, if you ask me, one of the prettiest designs in one of the top-tier design eras in automotive history, the 1960s. Go look at a 1966 or 67 or 68 Corvair. It is gorgeous. I mean, that car looks it looks like an Italian, it looks like a Lancia. It looks like a bigger Lancia Fulvia, and it is just, I love the design of the late 60s Corvairs. And they were safe by then. Again, GM fixed the problem, but GM failed to advertise it. They did the exact same thing with the Vega. In the late 60s, they were seeing the VW Beetles and the early Japanese competitors. The Toyota was the Crown before it was the Corolla, the Honda CCCXCVI, which then became the Civic, and the Datsun, because before Nissan it was Datsun, back when they were actually a company that could produce a reliable automobile, the Datsun Bluebird. Great little Japanese cars. The problem is those were incredibly rust-prone vehicles. Any foreign car produced before about 1990, a lot of the foreign companies did not understand that much of the United States has to salt their roads, especially if you live in the Northeast or the Midwest, and those cars just rotted away. A lot of American car manufacturers tended to be better at this. Not always, but most of the time. Even Chrysler products in the 70s, which were known for being really poor in terms of build quality, were much better rust-proof than anything foreign. So as far as GM, right, GM came out with what I think was the prettiest subcompact, efficient car of the 1970s. This car was the notorious Chevrolet Vega. The Vega looked amazing. It looked like a mini Camaro. It drove very well at first. It was very efficient at first. It was very affordable at first. But GM rushed their engineers to get it out the door. And the problem is they hadn't done enough quality control testing on the new aluminum block engine, which was a still relatively novel technology in 1970. And what that meant was that the engines had heating problems. They would overheat, and they would have structural problems that grenaded the engine at 20, 30, 40,000 miles. And it was because GM demanded that car be released for the 1971 model year. If GM had pushed the Vega back to 1972 or 73, it would have probably crushed the competition right as the Arab oil embargo came out. The Vega would have been a home run. But GM rushed it out the door and paid the consequences. In a similar way, Ford made a similar decision with the Pinto, which, by the way, the Pinto was no more fire or explosion prone than any other subcompact in the 1970s, especially that shitbox Beetle. I'm not getting on the Beetle rant today, but fuck the VW Beetle. Chrysler did the same problem with the Dodge Aspen and Plymouth Volare. Good car design at first, but they rushed it out the door for 1976 when they didn't need to. The Dart and the Duster were still reliable, solid cars, and if they had delayed the Volare and the Aspen to 1977 or 78, they wouldn't have been in such dire straits when Lee Iacocca took over in 1979. Another great example, we'll go to the 80s. GM had another great idea with the Pontiac Fiero, a brilliant little mid-engine sports car, but they didn't give it enough time to do quality testing, and so the Fiero had teething problems in the first 2 years of production. By the time 1988, 89, 90 came out and the Fiero had been mastered and it was a brilliant car, people saw it and they're like, no, these things break down all the time. This is the thing GM does, and they did this with the Cavalier as well. The original Cavaliers were shitboxes, but as time went on, the Cavalier actually became known for being a little cockroach of an automobile. Was it a penalty box? You're damn fucking right it was, but so was a Toyota Tercel or any other subcompact in the 80s and the 90s. But you still see sometimes, especially if you go to the hood, old 80s, 90s, and 2000s Cavaliers crawling around. They run badly, but they run longer than most other automobiles. GM did this with the Volt. GM did this with the Saturn Sky, the Pontiac Solstice, with the 6-cylinder Atlas engine that they put for the 2 years in the Colorado and the Trailblazer and then never used for anything else. Blows my mind. The Blackwing engine for Cadillac that they created in 2018. They put it in like 2 cars and then stopped making it. Insanity. Again, brilliant engineering company, managed worse than perhaps any other company in the business. It blows my mind. The engineering at General Motors can't be beat by any other country, or can't be beat by any other company. The engineering at General Motors can be beat by the management at General Motors, and it usually is. Toyota is dragging their feet on electric, yes, because in most of the world, the infrastructure for charging just isn't there yet. Toyota is being smart about this. Toyota is saying, we're gonna let GM and Ford and Tesla and Chrysler set themselves on fire making EVs that have teething issues, really refine our plug-in hybrid design, and then once all the technology is a generation or two old on the GM and Chrysler side, we'll roll out our EVs then and we'll clean it up because people will trust that we've done it reliably. Toyota's doing this very, very intelligently, as they usually do. That's Toyota's mindset though. Toyota will always be behind the cutting edge. Toyota does not produce cutting edge innovation. But when they do make a design change, they do it correctly and they do it with lots and lots of quality control. You can argue that that's, with the imperative of climate change, Toyota shouldn't be doing that and Toyota needs to get on the EV board fully. But frankly, if you want to go with climate change right now, yes, automotive emissions need to come down, and yes, we need to reduce car dependency, but the best way to do that is to beef up public transit, embrace the bicycle as a useful form of transportation for most city dwellers, and embrace nuclear power as a legitimate, efficient, and reliable form of electrical generation. If you want to go fully electric, that is going to add a ton of new demand to the United States grid. Well, that demand has to come from somewhere. Right now, the cheapest and most efficient way to meet that demand is with natural gas-fired power plants. Now, in some places, you can build alternative energy, solar and wind, but that's not everywhere in the United States. And in many places where you can build it efficiently and where it would make sense, California, the red tape is so bad that most solar and wind companies are saying, we can't be bothered with this. It's too restrictive. Think about how much time it took to finally get an offshore wind farm off the coast of Massachusetts. It's due to wealthy NIMBYs. California is struck by the same problem. Meanwhile, my adoptive home state of Texas is plowing ahead on solar, and they're actually starting to catch up with California. Texas blows California away, literally, when it comes to wind production because the panhandle is very windy. And Governor Perry, a lot of people think Rick Perry was just a dumbass Christian nationalist or whatever. And well, I will admit he wasn't the brightest bulb in the box, but he did do something very clever. He invested heavily into a giant grid connection from the Texas Panhandle to the major cities in Texas: DFW, Houston, Austin, San Antonio, Waco, College Station, right? What he did was they invested in a big program to bring all that energy all the way from the Panhandle. And they also, this is the big one, if you ever drive on Interstate 40 through the Panhandle or US 287, you will see endless amounts of wind farms on big cattle ranches. And the ranchers absolutely love this because let's say your cattle get sick and you have to, cull some of your herd for whatever reason. You've got a bit of insurance in terms of an alternative income stream by allowing wind companies to place turbines on your land. And a wind turbine does not take a lot of land in the X and Z direction or Y directions, but it does take up a lot of vertical directions. But if you're a cattle rancher, you don't give a shit about what's up there. You only care about land usage. The same thing with solar farms. And in fact, this is what's happening out in Texas now. It's called agrivoltaics. Haven't quite figured it out for cattle yet because cows are big and a bit clumsy and they just knock them over. But sheep, actually found that the grass sheep like to graze on grows better underneath solar panels because in Texas it's very hot. The further west you go, it gets very dry, and so grass has trouble growing in the direct sunlight. But in the shade of a solar panel, it's about perfect. So you've got another combined interest, and because of the more business-friendly atmosphere in the state of Texas, ranchers are starting to get on board with wind and solar. Which is hilarious because this is despite the best efforts of the oil and gas industry to crush that budding agrivoltaics industry in the Lone Star State. But the oil and gas industry knows the one industry it can't fuck with in Texas is the only industry in the state older than itself, the cattle ranching industry. The ranchers get what they want, full stop. In terms of priority, the ranchers are here, oil and gas is here, everything else is down here. Oh, it's good, Bull and fam. I'm having a great time. We're talking about finances, talking about alternative energy, all sorts of fun stuff. This is running the Q&A section of the stream. One whole week of off work next week. Congratulations, Joji. I am done work at my current source of employment on April 1st. April 2nd, I'm moving out. I'll go ahead and run through the itinerary for those of you who don't know. Actually, I'm just gonna, yeah, this thing's completely shot. This is really annoying. Someone let this marker dry out. Put the cap back on the marker for fuck's sake. Oh, that's not hard, and yet someone has failed to do that. Annoying. I don't mind it when people borrow my shit, but I do mind it when they borrow my shit and then don't treat it very well. All right, we'll have to go with the neon. All right, so we're going to talk about the itinerary, all right? So we're going from South Carolina to Hawaii, all right? That's my new, it's going to be my new residence. I'm moving to the Aloha State from the Palmetto State. So we're going even more beach friendly. On April 2nd, I'm leaving South Carolina. I don't quite know where I'm staying the night of the 2nd yet. It's either going to be in Mississippi or it's going to be all the way in Houston. At this point, I'm kind of hoping it's Houston. I'd love to see the guy in Mississippi, but it would be pretty nice to spend the day in Houston as well. There we go. All right. April 3rd, going to be in Houston. So if you are in the Houston metro area and you want to hang out, get a lift, grab a bite. That's where I'm going to be. April 4th, April 5th, I will be in College Station, Texas. So I'm coming home to Aggieland. All right. April 6th, I will be in Wills Point, Texas. I'm seeing a very close friend. Probably won't be available to see anybody there, but if you're in between College Station and Wills Point, all right, well, maybe we can stop for lunch or something. April 7th and April 8th, I will be with the homies in Greenville, Texas, my old residence area. to see the eclipse and to hang out with friends there. April 9th through the 13th, I'm going to be in and around DFW, predominantly on the north side around Plano. So if you're in the Metroplex area and you want to hang out, those are going to be the dates. All right? Now, this is subject to change, and it may be dependent on whether or not some of my friends in DFW, one of them was interested in buying my Volt. If that happens, I may have to reassess the plan, but assuming I do not sell my car in DFW, we are going to go with the following. All right, 14th, I am driving pretty much the entire day. I'm going to try to get from Dallas-Fort Worth, the Metroplex, all the way into Arizona. It's going to be a lot of driving. I'm going to spend a lot of time on the Discord hanging out. We're going to go through the Panhandle. I think I'm already meeting up with a friend in Albuquerque, but if you're on Interstate 40 or US 287 and you want to hang out with me, you'll have the opportunity. The 15th, I'm going to be probably trying to do a little bit of fun around the Grand Canyon area. I am avoiding the hell out of Las Vegas. You can't pay me enough to meet you there because I hate that city. Sorry, just don't like it. Las Vegas shouldn't exist if you ask me. The 16th and the 17th and the 18th, I'm going to be around Southern California. Probably going to go check out Muscle Beach. If you are in the Los Angeles metro area and you would like to see me, this is the time to do so. Definitely to do Muscle Beach, maybe doing Huntington Beach or Seal Beach. One of those beaches down there, Laguna Beach maybe. I forget which it is. There's a friend of mine in and around LA who knows the best beaches and probably go hang out. Then April 18th through the 22nd is going to be Central California. I've got a friend in Stockton I'm going to see. I've got I'd like to see, really it's going to depend on what is or is not on fire, but Inyo, Stanislaus, Yosemite, any of those Eastern California forests and national parks. That'll be a place I'll be looking to hang out. And then Northern California as well. So I'm going to try Shasta. Probably won't hike all the way up, but I would like to get a good ways of the way up and see how far I can get. Because I think Shasta's a 14er. So I'm probably not going to hit the summit, but like 8, 9, 10,000 feet, easy, can do that. Then beyond that, continue writing. All right. April 23rd, April 23rd, April 24th, I'm going to try and do Crater Lake. We'll probably be going through the state of Oregon. So if you live in, that state, you can go, and if we want to meet up, we can do that. I am going to try and avoid Portland because it's crime-ridden, and I don't want my car to get broken into at that point in my journey. But if there's a place where I can safely meet people in Portland, I'm open to it. Prefer Corvallis or Eugene or Salem, but I get it. April 25th to May 9th, I'm going to be hanging out with family in Washington. It'll be near the Tacoma and Bremerton metro areas. So if you live there, or if you live in Seattle, I'll probably take a day to go, take the ferry into Seattle because I like the city. And by late April, Washington State gets really nice weather, so I'll spend a lot of time outside there. Then May 9th, I have a flight. It's a one-way ticket from Seattle Tacoma International Airport to Honolulu, Hawaii. Yes, it is Hawaii. Thank you very much, Night Owl Paul. I chose the job at Pearl Harbor, so that's where we're working. I start May 20th, but I'm going to get out there May 9th and spend a couple days trying to set up my life out there. So I'm gonna go ahead and y'all can clip this or you can take a picture, but this is the itinerary right now, all right? So go ahead and let y'all get a snippet of that. Someone take a clip if y'all want. Someone take a screenshot, post it on the Discord. You know, take a screenshot for yourself, snipping tool, whatever. All right, I'll give you this 10 more seconds. Oh, fuck, lost my balance. All right, good enough. So, that's more or less it for the itinerary. If you guys have questions? No? Sounds good then. Talk a little bit more about the marketplace. There is one stock I am really, really bullish on right now, y'all. If y'all want stock tips, look, okay, I'm gonna be able to retire. I could retire now if I wanted to. I'm financially independent. I'm basically independently wealthy. I'm 28 years old, so maybe I know what I'm talking about here. If you would like a stock tip, this is my personal recommendation. Sorry for retarding this stream, just got out of work at Chipotle, sitting at the barbershop trying to get ready, get my new box braids like Travis Scott. Very nice. Yeah, that's all right. We're just chilling. So this is the itinerary right here. Again. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put this up. Actually, I'm gonna wipe it off. I'm gonna talk briefly about a stock pick that frankly I think I am a huge fan of. I've got a fair amount of money in, and I think could be, if they pull it off, could be an absolute 10-bagger. So this is one where I would love to see my community prosper with me. It is a high-risk stock play. I'm not gonna, say it isn't. But I think from an engineering perspective, they have come up with something that is unparalleled in the space they operate. So I would love to share it with y'all. And if you guys have questions, we can talk about it. So I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all right now, this is a company I'm fairly heavily invested in, and I think again they have a really big shot at success. As an independently financially free 28-year-old, do you use Moomoo or SoFi? I actually have stock in SoFi, but I don't need any of the products they offer because I already have a cheap mortgage and I have no other debt. So guys, raining no more lemon pepper car. Hell yeah, exactly. Learned about Moomoo and ended up leaving Robinhood. Oh, for brokerages? No, I use Vanguard. I'm old fashioned. But let's talk about this one, okay? You guys want a risky, but potentially extremely lucrative stock play. All right, let me just write out a little bit about the company. I'm going to go through everything I'm writing. Okay. All right, here we go. Not an attorney. Yeah, thank you very much about that for the disclaimer. Does Vanguard have Roth IRA and HSA accounts? Not HSA, but yes, Roth IRA. I have HSA bank for my HSA because that's what my employer offers. Not quite sure what my new job's going to offer there yet, so we'll see on that one. Okay, so here we go. This company's called Automotive. For those of you who are not new to my channel, you already know what this is, but I'm going to be honest with you. There have been some new updates to where I'm even more bullish about the company than I was. What doesn't Vanguard have HSA accounts? I don't know, man. Maybe they do. I haven't looked. Go Google that yourself, Liam. I don't have all the answers. Been looking for a service that offers HSAs. I use HSA Bank again because my employer makes me. So anyway, this company's called Automotive. Okay. So what they are is a last mile play in the EV space. What does that mean? So a last mile play is we're not looking at semis here. We're looking at things like delivery vans, what a FedEx or a UPS or a US Postal Service would be looking to use, right? Or an Amazon, right? So we're talking delivery between, a distribution center and like a route, to homes or to businesses or to apartments. That's where Automotive comes in. What Automotive has is a modular chassis based around 4 independent drive-by-wire and steer-by-wire corner hub modules. So what these are is basically what Re's value proposition is from an engineering standpoint. They've taken all the drivetrain and all the suspension componentry and put it within the wheel well. It's all by wire and it's got redundancies, so it is very safe. And in fact, it's the only company to have both drive and steer-by-wire certified right now. Even Tesla doesn't have that. They're already producing, right? They've already got, I think, $40-odd million worth of sales deals, and I think that number is going to come up in the coming months. But what this means is, right, if you've got all the drivetrain and suspension components out at the corners, you get really good packing efficiency. In other words, right, what is the most important thing for a delivery van? For it to be reliable and for it to take a lot of stuff. A Chevrolet Express is a good vehicle for it, but it's an internal combustion engine in the front, rear-wheel drive, and a drivetrain that takes up space. A Ford Transit's a little bit better because it's front-wheel drive, you have a lower load floor, and you can fit more in, but you've still got that big engine in the front. An Rivian van is perhaps even better still, but you've still got a big battery, and you've still got an axle in the back, right? Now this is where Re comes in. If you've got 4 independent motors at the bottom, you can have a truly flat load floor with the most amount of space possible. It's got a flat front end, and in fact, if you're up to 6'8", you can even stand up in the cab. So the viewing is really good because it's got independent drive and steer-by-wire. It can do 4-wheel turning, which means in narrow cities, it can turn the same way a compact automobile would, even though it's a delivery van. Very, very useful if you're a company, again, like UPS or Amazon or FedEx that you're looking to move with, all right? So there's the benefit there. Last mile solutions in e-bike. Okay, so no, not, right. I'm talking from a freight and cargo perspective here, Liam, right? You're not gonna use an e-bike to deliver large packages. That's just not really feasible unless you live in the Netherlands. And we can go on with an urbanist circle jerk, but we're not doing that today. This is practical right here. So the idea here with the ReCorner as well is that if something goes wrong with it, right, all you got to do is swap out a corner hub and put in a new one in 15 minutes time. And then you can fix the corner hub when it's off of the vehicle, as opposed to, say, with an internal combustion engine, you got to drop the engine or you've got to open up the hood. You're going to spend a lot more time in terms of labor cost, and in terms of downtime, it's going to cost more. So on top of that, it's going to be more reliable in terms of maintenance, right? And on top of that, we're going to talk about tax credits. It does qualify for federal tax credits for commercial vehicles. That is going to make it a lot more affordable to buy. Furthermore, all right, and this is the new information about this that really separates them, okay? Automotive has announced 2 deals. The first one is a partnership with Knapheide. Now, if you have ever been around like any construction or tradesman's vehicle, you will see Knapheide branded F-150s, F-250s, E-Series, Express, Transit, insert commercial vehicle here with a Knapheide body. What Knapheide does is they build different packages on cutaway chassis for all sorts of applications, but usually trades, right? They also do it for cargo vans. Knapheide is they're working with RE to create different vehicles. They've already shown different versions. They've come out at expos, they've come out at car shows, so it's already going to be selling at dealerships. So very, very good sign there, okay? But on top of that, all right, we've got a deal. This is the big one. The deal with Airbus. Airbus is a huge company. Airbus is a direct competitor for big commercial jets. And as a result, right, to build a commercial jet, well, what do you need? You need a massive production facility, right? A jet is a big thing. To build it, you need a big space. So what are you going to need? You're going to have lots of big, heavy parts. So to move that, right, you're going to want a vehicle that's very easy to maintain, that's very large, that's very modular, and that you can move up and down a production line with. Well, what company has certified drive and steer-by-wire corner suspension hubs that can do that? Well, that's RE Automotive. So RE and Airbus have come up with a deal where RE is going to share technical knowledge for drive and steer-by-wire componentry for Airbus to use. I think that is going to be a massive deal. I think that's going to help Airbus right now, and with all the troubles Airbus's biggest competitor has been having, that's Boeing. Y'all have seen all the news stories about Boeing losing doors and having quality control issues with their 737 Maxes and 737Xs and all that. Airbus is going to suck up some market share. So this is very, very lucrative. Tesla does have steer-by-wire, but they don't have drive and steer-by-wire. RE's the only one that has that. It's been fully certified by the federal regulators. RE's the only one that has done that so far. And in the cargo space, it's not even close either. Rivian isn't close. Canoe isn't close. These guys have, from an engineering perspective, the best product on the market. I really do believe that. The other ones, now is this company a startup? Yes. But do they have debt? No. As such, right now they're going through trying to get production costs going. The trouble is because they're an Israeli startup, they're having trouble getting access to loans. Unfortunately, that's a political issue. I don't care about that. I care about this as an engineering company, and again, from an engineering company, these guys are brilliant. No debt. They're also talking about their first batch should allow them to break even and already start turning a profit as soon as 2025. Right now, their ramp-up plan has $1 billion in sales cumulative between 2024 and 2026, and the market cap of this company right now is about $65 million. In other words, this is $1 billion company if they execute. That's a big if. There's a lot that could go wrong, right? There's a lot that could go wrong, but this is a company that if they do it right, you're talking a 10 or more bagger. So a 10 bagger, right? If you invest 600, you return 6,000. That's the kind of returns we're talking about here. I'm extremely bullish on this company, all right? I'm not trying to sound like a shill. Okay, so are there some drawbacks to this company? Yes. The first is if they don't get the sales, well, they're going to go bankrupt, right? But that could be said of any player in the electric vehicle space, right? That's a question mark. The other is, again, because they're an Israeli company, are they going to get political pushback? RE can't control what the Israeli government does, but unfortunately, people are going to make decisions based off of that. I don't see that as a big enough risk at the moment. I think the unpleasantness between Israel and Gaza is going to get resolved. I think Bibi is going to find his way out. I think Benny Gantz will get reelected, and I think right now the Biden administration is going to. I think you know what Benjamin Netanyahu is. He's the Chihuahua that, because the Chihuahua has been protected by the big Bull Mastiff or Great Dane behind him, has gotten really arrogant. And Bibi needs to remember his place. Without the United States, Israel is nothing. Parts of this country that can only be seen via rail, not by plane, bicycle, or car. Take the scenic route. I'm not doing. Okay, please connect with reality here. I'm trying to move all my stuff across the country too. I can't fit all of that with an Amtrak ticket. I also have a car that I need to sell before I move to Hawaii. So I'm gonna use a car. I've thought about using Amtrak. If I end up selling the car in DFW, yes, I could consider doing Amtrak from DFW to Seattle. But I also don't feel like spending 2 whole weeks sitting in a train going 30 miles an hour. And paying a very hefty penny to do so, by the way. Amtrak's cross-country trains are extremely expensive. So I'm not trying to be mean, but like, I don't have that kind of flexibility. Amtrak's long-distance offerings are terrible right now. They're not competitive. That's why nobody uses them. Or rather, very few people use them. Look, we can sit here, again, we can sit here and do our urbanist circle jerk all day long, but that's not connected to reality right now. Off to a meeting. All right, Mikey. But anyway, so if you guys want good stock tip, I recommend these guys. Check them out, do your own research, do your own homework. If you decide, it's a bit too risky, understandable. If you want a really, really good play, highly recommend these guys. There's a lot of good stuff coming out of this company. So I guess I should mention the obvious. Yeah, the ticker name is RE. Wall Street Bets will probably have a field day with this. If the company succeeds and takes off with a ticker like that, God only knows what the Wall Street Bets boys will do with this. In other words, you could see it, probably not a GameStop, but you could see a ton of new interest in it if the company survives. Which again, it's a big if. But if you want potential 10-bagger, right, any potential 10-baggers are going to have risk involved. Amazon.com stock in 2002 was cheap for a reason. Then it took off. I'm not saying this company's the next Amazon, but do I think this company could become a very major player in the burgeoning EV space? Oh, I do. So anyway, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of time to screenshot this. Give you 10 seconds here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. And it is about noon, so I'm going to go ahead and look to end the stream. I don't think we're going to find someone to raid soon. But I will be live same time, same place tomorrow. Tomorrow we have legs. We have a lot of squats. In the Middle East, Israel and Moscow will never end until either Jews are wiped into the Mediterranean or Hamas is eradicated, which is the IDF's mission. To the left asking when Israel will stop the nation state while it is stopping the terrorist threats be neutralized to support Israel 100% as is justified. West Bank Gaza should stop supporting Hamas and Poles. Now I agree with that. You shouldn't support Hamas and Poles, but what Israel's current technique is going to do is just going to breed more terrorists. Right? If you are a man growing up in Gaza, your only options to survive and, put bread on the table right now because of all the economic sanctions is to join Hamas. Right? You're breeding more terrorists. What I like actually is I like Anthony Blinken's and Joe Biden's peace deal. It was where the conditions were that Hamas relinquishes all power in Palestine. We get Palestinian statehood. The Israelis remove themselves from the settlements, which were built illegally. And then the Middle Eastern Gulf states, UAE, Kuwait, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, have a vested interest in rebuilding Gaza and Palestine to create a functioning state. And that the leaders in Palestine do not associate with terrorism. They have to, and all of this is also going to force those Gulf states to recognize Israel's right to exist. That's the best way forward. But of course I'm a centrist, so what were you expecting? Of course I like the compromise. It's actually one where I'm not a huge fan of Biden in a lot of ways, but actually I think that deal's pretty good. I think the Israelis are very, they have all the right, they have all the justification to say, we're gonna continue to do this because yeah, Hamas is fucking vile. But you have to have, you can't just win the war. You have to win the peace. If you don't win the peace, you're just going to create a feedback loop. That's the problem. Anyway, I don't have a ton of time to get into that particular discussion, but what we are going to do is look to raid someone. We got John, we got Limitless. Who are we going to raid? Yeah, let's raid Limitless. Oh, God. All right. So we continue sending aid. We know it gets hijacked by Hamas. No, we rebuild the Ottoman Empire, give the land back to the Brits. It'd be better under the British since 2024. Now, the British are the ones who created this with all these fucking borderlines. I actually really do like I think the deal posed by the Biden administration is the best of a bad situation. Anyway, we are going to go ahead and raid Limitless here. So raid message, as always, is Bull Rush. We're going to raid, if my computer will get some speed here. There we go. Fuck off, CCleaner. There we go. We close that window. No, I don't want. God damn it, CCleaner. Just close the window right now. I don't want to deal with your bullshit. Next. Close. Decline. No, stop trying to install Google Chrome. God damn it. Great. There we go. Limitless fitness. All right, that is going to be it for me today, y'all. It's been good. I will be live again tomorrow. We're going to have leg day tomorrow. Until then, make good decisions. Those good decisions form your actions. Those actions form your habits. Those habits form your values, and those values form an ethos that can be the guide star through the rough waters of life. Much love. Come in for the hug. See you tomorrow. All right. YouTube, it's been fun. That's going to be it for me today.